welcome back to E.W Legal Series. Hope you guys are all well. Today is the start of something new. Welcome to Magistrate Monday. In my previous video I talked about how I was going to do a legal insight series, essentially like a legal dictionary. It's never been done before. I really want to make something special for all you law students.
Stars shining bright above me.
So I decided to talk about this topic in particular because I feel like a lot of people don't really know what a magistrate is. A magistrate is essentially another word for a judge. However, the judges that you know and the judges that you see on drama series usually are legally qualified. The controversial thing about magistrates is that they do not need to be legally qualified. What do you think about that, guys? Essentially, what a magistrate needs to come to the courts is to have a wide array of skills. Now, they usually preside in the lower courts, so they are a judge, but they more tend to follow guidelines and they can get help off of a legal advisor which knows all of the law. So it is a voluntary role, it's unpaid. You have to be over 18 and under 65. The way I think of it is it's sort of like a GP in comparison to a consultant. The GP is your starting point, which is a magistrate's court. This is where all the cases go to start with. The serious court is a Crown Court. That's the one above the magistrates. So if the case is not serious enough for the magistrates to make a quick decision, like fining, giving a penalty, giving a warning, usually a lot of youths go to magistrates, then take that, send it to the Crown Court because it's more serious. So personal qualities of a magistrate include: number one, they have to sit for long periods of time. Number two, you have to be mature. Now they say that you can become a magistrate because it's an unpaid voluntary position at the age of 18. However, you usually tend to see that it's sort of middle-aged people to people who have retired because they actually have the time to give to voluntary work. Now usually it tends to be sort of between the ages of 45 to 65. That's what I've seen in my experience, because obviously one of the qualifications is that you need a wide array of skills, and with time obviously comes experience. However, coming from my position, it would be really nice to see younger people going in and making decisions and learning about society and justice at a young age. So those of you who have not studied law but may be interested in the criminal justice system and having your impact, I would definitely recommend looking into becoming a magistrate. You must be reliable and committed to serving the community. Now I feel like this is a skill, not a skill, it's more of a personal quality that you need for pretty much anything, but more so for voluntary work, I'd say, just because you're actually giving up your free time to learn what's required of you as a magistrate. And so I feel like you need a much more higher dedication to the role, because it is serious as well. You're not legally trained, but you're dealing with people's life. Now obviously there are a lot of other skills that a magistrate needs to qualify, and clearly they have to show these skills through experience, but I would say a few other prerequisites to joining as a magistrate is that you have to give up 13 full days a year. Now in the grand scheme of things, if you think about it, this is not actually that much, and the great thing is that by law, if you do become a magistrate, your employer actually has to give you the time off. Now whether they pay you or not, I guess, is discretionary, but if you've got a good company and you're working for good people, then hopefully they should pay you. The first person we are going to be talking about is a guy named Richard Page. Richard Page was removed from Magistrate for expressing his views that it was not normal for a child to be adopted by a single or same-sex parent. Now, the reason this is bad is because judges by nature are seen to be impartial. You know, maybe they're not always, but most of the time they are. They take their role very seriously, which means expressing your views on matters which could severely affect the outcome of a client's case is seen as biased. Now, of course, it was okay to have his opinion, like anyone, you know, human rights and all that. You know, you can have your own opinion, freedom of speech. However, there is a certain level, especially when it is going to affect your role and your professional career. He basically flaunted it to the media without permission. So the opinion itself is quite controversial. You can imagine the outrage. Same-sex couples have been allowed to adopt since 2002. In 2016, 9.6% of adoptions in England involved same-sex couples. In 2018, it rose to 12%. Now, in other news, a magistrate was sacked for failing to understand a legal advisor's role. Now, because magistrates only have more procedural training skills and, like I said earlier, don't have much legal grounding or qualifications, it is essential that they have to rely on a legal advisor to provide clarification on legal points. Now, I think it was correct that they sacked him, just because if you're actually voluntarily putting yourself out there to do the role, the least you would expect is that you actually want to do it, and so you have a commitment to thoroughly learn the role and what's expected of you. Gonna save the best till last. So in 2019, lawyers across the country, women, magistrates, literally, you know, anyone in legal roles celebrated 100 years of women in law. Now, this may seem like an important movement, but it absolutely is, because before this, women did not have the right to vote, the right to even education, the right to become lawyers. In 1919, 7 women were appointed as magistrates. Now, this is not a lot, but it has increased. Today, 56% of women are magistrates, and if we're talking more generally, there's more solicitors, female solicitors than male solicitors. So, and there's more people studying law, more women studying law than men at university. So guys, things are definitely changing for the legal system, and all that I hope is that it gets better. I'm going to finish this off with a fun fact. I might start doing this on every series because I think this is quite an interesting concept. So, did you know that theft is punished more than wife beating? Let me know down below, guys. As always, if you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate any subscribers, if you will, and likes, and also go and follow my Insta. I'll put it down below if you need help, as always, with any sort of legal coursework, any career guidance, anything related. Okay guys, thank you for watching and take care.